Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. So about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, I want to talk about the time when Michael Jordan received Basketball Player of the Century, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Michael Jordan was named the greatest basketball player of the century back in 1999 at the Sports Illustrated 20th Century Sports Awards, guys. All right, this is back in 1999. They had a huge award show, right, for the century, the turn of the century. And Michael Jordan was named the greatest basketball player of the last century, guys. He was named the basketball player of the century, right? Winning that award over other great NBA legends, guys. And I want to talk about it in this video. And I want to talk about what Michael Jordan said when he received that award. And I'm going to show and highlight to you why we all respect Michael Jordan. Because Michael Jordan always spoke with class, always carried himself with dignity, with honor, right? And integrity. So he always earned the respect of the people, man. And we're going to talk about Michael Jordan's comments. I'm going to read off the comments that he made when he won that award. And we're going to highlight the players that were in the running and a couple other things in this video, guys. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states have been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, you know, I am truly humbled by all the support, man. Like I said, it really means a lot. You guys come through with the live streams and you donate to the channel, you comment, you send me emails and messages, you share your stories with me. All that stuff means a lot, man. So thank you very much to all you guys out there. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So yes, guys, like I said, man, I wanted to talk about Michael Jordan receiving the Basketball Player of the Century award, guys, back in 1999. Now, if you guys don't know, and like I said, I forgot about this award. Once again, another award that Michael Jordan earned, another award that Michael Jordan received that no one really talks about, because Michael Jordan is not the awards or the stats. Michael Jordan is the legacy that he left behind, right? How he carried himself on and off the court, the effort, the hustle, the grit, the love that he played the game with. That's what made Michael Jordan receive those awards and, you know, gather those stats that he got when he played, because he went out there and gave the effort. He was a true competitor. That's who Michael Jordan was. So when we talk about an award like this, I completely forgot about this. So like I said, in 1999, Sports Illustrated had an award show for the 20th Century Sports Awards, right? And they covered all sports, guys. And these were the greatest athletes, the greatest players of these particular sports that represented these particular sports over the last century, guys. So we're talking about from the turn of the century, 1900 to 1999, right? That's 100 years, guys, right? This is what they were celebrating. They were honoring the century of sports, guys. Think about this. Michael Jordan, once again, being named the Basketball Player of the Century, guys, in 1999, all right? So if we think about 2000, guys, right? We're in the 2000s right now. You're going to have to wait another like 80 years, 75 years before they would do another turn of the century award show. And who would be the greatest basketball player over the last century, right? You understand what I'm saying, guys? That'll be very interesting. Probably won't be around for that, guys, right? I probably won't be around. Maybe some of you younger people, maybe you guys will be around for that. But in 75 years, I don't plan on still being here. If I am here, fantastic, man. That means that something's going right for me, man. But anyway, so this award show happened, all right, back in 1999. And like I said, Michael Jordan won this award. And I'm trying to remember who he won the award over. I wrote this stuff down. Hold on a second, guys. So I believe Michael Jordan was in the running for the greatest basketball player of this past century, against Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson, all right? That was there was like 7 or 8 of them. 7 of them that were up for this greatest player of the century. Those were the names that were in the running. Now, I just posted a picture, right? Last night, I posted a picture with all these great athletes in this photo. I mean, I've never seen this photo before. Like I said, I forgot about this photo. I feel like I remember it from back when it happened, but I forgot about this photo. And this photo was sensational. I mean, you're talking about legends, guys. Legends. See, the term legend gets thrown around a lot these days. Like the word hater, right? Everyone, oh, you're a hater. You're just hating. Right? Same thing with legend. We call people legends, and we use that word a lot more often than we should be using it, right? These are all-time greats, but legends, to be a legend, is a little bit different, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys remember that picture, can you guys remember some of the people that were in that photo? Legends, guys. I'm talking about the great of the greats, right? These are names that, you know, like I said, you can't really get on top of these guys. We talk about, you saw Muhammad Ali in that photo. Now, in this photo I think these are all the representatives of a certain sport, right? So they had like Tiger Woods there. They had Jack Nicklaus there representing golf, right? They had Pete Sampras there. I remember seeing that photo. If you guys don't remember Pete Sampras in the 90s, he was that dude, man, who kind of like overtook Andre Agassi, man. Like Andre Agassi was that guy, man, in the late 80s, early 90s. And then Pete Sampras, like I said, just took over. But they had Pete Sampras there. They had Billie Jean King, one of the you know, advocates for women and sports. She played tennis. So shout out to Billie Jean King that was there. You saw Evander Holyfield in this picture. Pele was in this picture, man. Shout out to Pele. Rest in peace to Pele. And a lot of these great people that died. Muhammad Ali, like I said, a lot of these great athletes that were in this photo. Pele, I feel like I've never seen a photo with Pele, Michael Jordan. Joe Montana was in this photo. You're talking about a legend. Man, when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, man, Joe Montana was that dude, guys. He was that guy. I remember hearing the names. It was like Joe Montana and like John Elway and Dan Marino. Like, these were the guys, man. Like I said, and Joe Montana was, like I said, man, you're talking about the top of the list. It was Joe Montana. And still to this day, a lot of people still recognize Joe Montana as the greatest quarterback of all time. The dude was smooth. He was cool. And he was great under pressure. Joe Montana, man. So shout out to Joe Montana, who I saw in there. Jim Brown, the great Jim Brown. Rest in peace to Jim Brown. You guys know how I feel about Jim Brown. Like I said, man, just an American hero, Jim Brown. He was a hero to the people, man. The things that he stood for, the way that he played football, the athleticism of Jim Brown. Like I said, the heart that he played with, the effort that he gave out there on the field, man. Just, I mean, shout out to Jim Brown. To me, like I said, the greatest running back of all time is Jim Brown. One of the greatest athletes in all of sports, man, in the history of sports, Jim Brown. So he was in that picture. The great Carl Lewis, another legend. Carl Lewis, man. You guys remember Carl Lewis in the 80s and the 90s, man? One of the great Olympians, one of the great track and field stars in the history of American sports, man, of USA Olympics. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, another, once again, USA Olympic track and field legend. Jackie Joyner-Kersee. You had, what's his name there? Wayne Gretzky. How can I forget the great one, Wayne Gretzky? Another guy that when I was growing up, these were the guys that you heard all the time. It was names like Babe Ruth. It was names like Wayne Gretzky, the Joe Montanas, right? These were the guys, the Jim Browns, right? These were the guys that you always had mentioned, heard mentioned a lot. Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan. These were the great athletes, man. So once again, shout out to Wayne Gretzky, who, like I told you, Wayne Gretzky is like I said, when I was coming up, he was in the Michael Jordan stuff. He's like the Michael Jordan of hockey, right? Like, it's Wayne Gretzky, guys. Once again, this is a level of greatness that was in that photo. Like I said, all these great athletes representing their sport. All right? I mean, that photo is fantastic to me. I know I missed a couple of people that I did not mention. Forgive me. I'm just trying to, off the top of my head, remember some of the people that I saw. But in this video, what I really wanted to focus on, I know I've rambled on for 8 minutes here. What I really wanted to focus on, guys, and what I wanted to highlight to you guys, it's something that a lot of us talk about that I've mentioned many times on this channel. Michael Jordan and the humility of Michael Jordan, and how Michael Jordan always honored the other past eras, the past legends that came before him. Michael Jordan always honored these guys, always bigged them up, shouted them out, gave them recognition. I heard Michael Jordan say Jerry West's name I don't know how many times. I told you a lot of times, guys, I had to find out and ask about who these people were because I kept hearing Michael Jordan bring them up. Michael Jordan bringing up Jay West all the time, bringing up the Will Chamberlains, the Oscar Robertsons, right? He would always mention these guys' names. So once again, guys like Elgin Baylor. So it makes you ask and wonder and look into who these guys are, giving them the props. Now what do we get? We get a lot of these guys saying, oh, I'm the greatest at this. I'm the greatest at that. I'm the greatest ever. I'm the greatest this. I'm this and that. These guys couldn't do that. This is what you hear now, right? No praise for the past eras, no recognition. These guys seem laughing at them, making fun of them. Oh, look at these guys. They were plumbers and tech. This is what you get from the guys today. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan was always giving credit to the guys who came before him, guys. So I want to read off. I wrote this down, so bear with me. I want to read off Michael Jordan when he received the award and the little, it's not a speech, guys. He gave just like a little, like I said, thank you, for winning the award. But I want you to listen to what he said, guys. How he recognized the previous eras, the past players, the other guys that he was going against for this award, and what they meant to him. I want you to listen to these words that he said, guys. This is in 1999, remember. And also, Wilt Chamberlain was not there in attendance. Bill Russell was there. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson. They were all there in attendance. Wilt Chamberlain, if I remember correctly, this was in December of 1999. If I remember correctly, Wilt Chamberlain passed away in October of 1999. So he died a couple of months before this award show happened. So Wilt Chamberlain was not there, man. So anyway, Michael Jordan says this. Now, also, I'm sorry, guys, I want to remind you also, this was in Madison Square Garden. This was in Madison Square Garden. It took place 1999, guys. So he says, thank you very much. Good to be back in the Garden, right? It's the Madison Square Garden. He's acknowledging the Madison Square Garden, the New York fans. And you know why he's acknowledging them, guys? Because he was getting boos and cheers, right, from the New York fans. And why were they booing him? Listen to this. I expected that, is what he's saying. I expected that as well. The booing, some of the booing from the New York Knicks fans. And he says this, that means I did my job well when I came here. And what have I told you guys, right? In comparison to LeBron James, let's say, you know, LeBron James gets booed when he goes out and things of that nature. And we told you, he never knows what kind of reception he's going to receive because LeBron James is not respected like that. What have I told you about Michael Jordan? Anytime Michael Jordan was booed in an arena, right, or he got booed somewhere, they booed him out of respect. Not because they don't respect him, they booed him out of respect, right? Because I told you they hated Michael Jordan so much, but they respected the hell out of him because they couldn't beat this dude. This is why the New York fans would boo Michael Jordan, right? Would try to heckle Michael Jordan. A lot of arenas tried to heckle Michael Jordan, boo him, get him off his game, right? Get inside his mind. But it was out of respect. It was out of fear that they booed Michael Jordan because it was frustration. Because every year this man was beating the New York Knicks. So anyway, that's what Michael Jordan says. I expected that as well. That means I did my job well when I came here. I would be remiss not to thank all the other recipients tonight, all the nominees. It's truly a privilege for me to be here. But when you see Michael Jordan, I'm a product of modern basketball, modern technology. You hear what Michael Jordan said right there, guys? I'm a product of modern basketball and modern technology. So he's talking about how the game is being marketed now in the 90s when he played, right? How these guys were promoted, the advertising, the commercials, right? TV was becoming more and more prevalent. Sports on TV was more prevalent. When a lot of those guys played, sports wasn't on TV like that, man. You can't find a lot of video footage from a lot of this stuff. It wasn't on TV. These guys weren't getting that kind of notoriety. It wasn't getting that kind of coverage, right? The game was still developing, right? So this is what Michael Jordan's talking about. He also said modern technology, right? So the breakaway rims, right? The nice backboards hanging from the nice stanchions, right? These nice arenas with nice hardwood floors that Michael Jordan's playing on. This is modern technology in the 90s. The things that they had, the advantages that they had in the 90s, that guys in the 60s and the 50s and the 70s did not have. This is what he's acknowledging. What do you get from somebody like LeBron James? Oh, you drop Giannis in the 70s, he's dropping 250 points. This is what you get from somebody like LeBron James. What do you hear from the J.J. Reyes? A lot of these clowns out here in their podcasts. Oh, you're telling me these guys in the 60s, they would be able to play in this NBA? Well, I heard some comment from, I think it was Lou Williams, some time back, maybe about a couple years ago, maybe. He said something like, if you drop LeBron James in the 70s, he wins like 15 straight championships. This is what we hear from these clowns. No humility, and they're not accurate. They're not giving the proper respect to the past eras. The people that paved the way for someone like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is acknowledging them, right? He said, it's a privilege for me to be here. He continues. But all the great achievements come from Oscar Robertson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Bob Cousy, all the athletes, all the players way before Michael Jordan. I just got the fruit of the labor, I guess. I learned so much from these guys watching them. Once again, you hear what Michael Jordan said there, guys? You hear what he said? He literally called all them out in their names. Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, mentioned Bob Cousy. And you know what's really funny, what's interesting? If you guys go back and you watch this clip, it's like a 3-minute clip. Michael Jordan receiving this award. I want you guys to watch the clip. And I want you to notice something that I noticed. When Michael Jordan's reading off these names and he's saying these guys, like I told you, they're all there, except for Wilt Chamberlain, who had passed away a couple of months earlier. So every time he mentions a name, when he says Oscar Robertson, the camera goes to Oscar Robertson and shows his face and him sitting in the crowd. When he says Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the camera goes to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And when the camera went to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan, like I said, is giving these guys their acknowledgement, their respects, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar almost made a face as if he was actually like, almost like he was impressed almost that Michael Jordan was giving them this kind of credit, was saying these kinds of things. It was almost like he was like, go and watch the clip, you'll see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's face like he's almost surprised that Michael Jordan is speaking like this. Maybe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't know Michael Jordan that well. Maybe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wouldn't have said these things himself this way. But this is what Michael Jordan always did. Once again, remaining humble and acknowledging the past greats, guys, and what they did for him. For him, you see what he's saying? I'm the one. He literally says, I just got the fruits of the labor, I guess. So he's saying, I'm standing on their shoulders. What they did, right? They crawled till I can walk. That's essentially what he's saying here. Giving them the props for lifting him up. He's getting the rewards from their hard work. This is not what you hear today. You hear, oh, we're bigger, stronger, faster. Those guys are trash. This guy's are that. This is what you hear now. Sad. But Michael Jordan continues, guys. He says this in closing. I've kind of gained more of the publicity and more of the notoriety because of me learning from what they have done years way before me. And I want to give them the proper respect and thank you for allowing me to do my job the way I did my job. Thank you very much. That was his closing sentence that he had to say. Listen to what he said, guys, very carefully here. I've kind of gained more of the publicity and more of the notoriety because of me learning from what they have done years before me. So like I just told you guys, how are you going to be standing on the shoulders of greatness when they constantly tell you that the guys in the past weren't great? They just weren't great. Michael Jordan understands they were great. That's basically what he's saying here. They allowed me to stand on their shoulders. I got the publicity and the notoriety because of watching them, what they did. So he watched and learned from Dr. J, right? David Thompson, right? And some of these other great players that he watched growing up. He learned from these guys. Everyone learning from each other, which helps push the game forward, guys. I've always told you that. You're pushing the game forward because you're trying to improve upon what the earlier previous eras, the greats, what they were doing, right? So Elgin Baylor did it. Dr. J tried to improve it and take it a step further. And Michael Jordan tried to take it a step further than Dr. J did. That's what happens here. You trying to push the game forward by trying to be as great or greater than the players before you, holding that same standard. This is what Michael Jordan's talking about. The standard that they held allowed him to get the notoriety and allowed him to get the recognition because they were great, which allowed the game to still be around in the 80s and the 90s when Michael Jordan came around, right? Dr. J kept the game around for someone like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, right? Magic Johnson, right? Bill Russell, the Will Chamberlains that helped keep the game going all those years. So he says, I want to pay them the proper respect. You know what's funny, guys? When you listen to Michael Jordan say all those things that he said and speak so eloquently like he always does and acknowledge the other great players and what they did for him, right? It's a stark comparison to what could have happened and what we've seen from a lot of guys today. You're telling me that, and this is 1999, guys. Remember, in 1999, at this time, which is obvious, Michael Jordan was voted as the greatest basketball player of the century, guys. At that time in 1999, Michael Jordan could have easily went up there and celebrated himself. He could have easily went up there and all cocky and arrogant. He could have easily been LeBron James and had his wife come on stage and introduce him as the GOAT. He could have easily had him come out, hey, babe, do me a favor. When they give this award to me, I want you to go up there and say, man, hey, and introducing the GOAT, Michael Jordan. He could have easily did this. He could have easily went up there, like I said, and celebrated himself. Right, what we've seen LeBron James and a lot of other great players do, they take these moments, these platforms that they get to acknowledge themselves, to pump themselves up, right? Never give any real respect or credit to the people around them or their teammates or any of this kind of stuff. Oh, the past eras. No, we're going to keep pumping ourselves up. I'm the greatest defensive player of all time now. I'm the greatest rebounder of all time. I'm the greatest scorer of all time. I'm a basketball god. I'm the most efficient. I can do this. No one dribbles like this guy. These guys are stronger and faster. Those guys were white guys. They were unathletic white dudes. Think about what they say. Think about what the fans say. And why do the fans say this stuff? And they get it from their favorite player. Michael Jordan always respected the past, so in turn, his fans, people like me, we respected the past. We understood it. We recognized what those guys did, which allowed the players that we watched growing up to do what they did. Like Michael Jordan said, thank you for allowing me to do the job, my job, the way that I did it. Once again, man. So like I said, guys, We talk about Michael Jordan winning Basketball Player of the Century in 1999. And also, we must understand that I believe it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, and Michael Jordan that represented the NBA. So in that photo I showed you guys, right, they had the greatest players in each sport or, event or whatever it was. And representing basketball was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, and Michael Jordan, guys. They were the three athletes representing basketball at the turn of the century, guys. Right, so like I said, they had other guys representing football. Like I think they had Joe Montana, Jim Brown, and I think John Elway was there representing football. Surprised that they didn't have like a Jerry Rice there. I can't remember. I'm trying to think who else. So like I said, they had golf and tennis and some of these things, guys. Track and field. Like I said, the key here, though, like I told you guys, is what Michael Jordan said, how he acknowledged the past eras, the past players, right? And showed humility. Didn't pump himself up or talk about how great he was or any of his accomplishments. He acknowledged that he was only there because of them. Now we hear these players talk about, oh, man, you lucky I'm around, man. What was the game without me? Who were these guys? They were nobodies, man. They didn't even play basketball. Look at them, how they dribbled. Oh, look at their shooting percentages. This is what you hear now from a lot of these guys that were supposed to be NBA players, that's supposed to be analysts, broadcasters. Absolute joke. No respect for the past players. Michael Jordan always had respect, man. This is why Michael Jordan earned the respect. Always spoke with class. Always honored the past legends, man. You guys know the deal. I'll catch you guys on the next one.